Book Talks with Kate have moved to their own stream. Please look on our website or in the show notes for a link to their new name, Feast Sheath Shatter, a book chat podcast. All episodes originally released under Strange and Beautiful Book Club are here to stay, but any new episodes will only be available by following Feast Sheath Shatter wherever you listen to podcasts. I've been trying to read Dune. I have Dune on the Kindle, and I could not get through Dune. And I was like, I should be able to read Dune. I'm enjoying Dune. Why can I not read it? So I bought the book, and it was immediately like the same way I felt when I got the Throne of Glass books. Like, okay, now this is achievable.
Physical copy of it makes it easy.
Yeah, and I remembered, I had forgotten, when I was little, to calm me down, my parents used to give me the phone book to turn the pages in the phone book because it was comforting. The feel and sound of... I thought, oh.
And the paper feels good.
Oh.
Yeah. Like we would go to people's houses and they'd be like, do you have a phone book to give me so I could turn the pages?
I can't sleep without her phone book.
So I was like, oh, that probably explains a lot.
Oh, that's cute.
It's like a childhood comfort thing, being able to turn the pages.
That makes sense. It's a sensory thing.
Yeah.
I get it. I'm a hair twirler and a nail biter and a thumb thucker.
Thumb sucker?
Thumb thucker.
Yeah.
A thumb sucker.
Yeah.
Anything that was tactile and comforting, I did. So I twirl. I'll still twirl. People made fun of me because they would say it was like me winding up my brain because I was just needed the softness of my hair.
Yeah.
And I was blonde and funny. People didn't know what to do with me. So,
Are we ready to get started?
yeah.
All right.
I'm ready to talk about this book.
Okay. So we have to figure out our own intro.
Is this for the new one?
Yeah, we can do the new one if you want to.
I thought you said it was going to be in July.
Well, I know, but we don't want to keep calling it Strange and Beautiful Book Club because I can't cut that out. So,
Okay, well, let's let it happen organically. Or any thoughts? Do you have thoughts?
no.
Let me think about it. Let's think about it.
Well, I'll just stare at you. No? Do you, Kate?
No, I don't. That's why I didn't get the assignment before now. So
No, that's fine.
I thought that this was the new book club.
Well, it's same old
book chat.
Book chat. We just be
Sorry.
like, hi, I'm Rachel.
And I'm Kate.
I'm Hannah.
And this is the Feast Sheath Shatter. Shatter.
Is it hot in here, or is it just me tuning in to hear these three chatting about fantasy novels of the spicy variety? Not your average book club, if you know what I mean. Are you happy to see us, or is that a dagger? It's Feast Sheath Shatter. It's Feast Sheath Shatter.
This is FSS. Welcome.
I like that. FSS.
Yeah.
cute.
That's a
Thank
good
you.
one.
I just made it up at this moment.
So this hour, we're talking about Psalm for the Wild Built.
Yep. By
Yes.
Rebecca Chambers.
Yes. So this is my second time reading it, but you guys just read it.
I had to read it like 4 times. So I read it several times to comprehend. I'd like to start off with an analogy for my experience.
Thank you.
If the books that we've been reading, ACOTAR, Throne of Glass, Crescent City, most of the spicy adventure stories that I typically absorb are Call of Duty. This book was Animal Crossings. The stakes were low.
Yeah.
It was delightful, peaceful, philosophical. It required it was beautiful writing, the world building was really neat. It was very healthy. Everything about this book is healthy.
Yeah.
And somewhat ideological, like, oh, this would be a beautiful moon planet world. And it bored the shit out of me.
Really?
Yeah.
funny.
I had a really hard time finishing it. A really hard time. And I it was just one of those things. I finished it. When I said I listened to it 4 times because I had to stop and go back and stop and go back because I just kept zoning out.
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't like these characters, because I do. It's not that I didn't like the world, because I do. I think it was the lack of
Adventure? War?
Smut. I was kidding.
no, not even. I
It doesn't
wasn't
really have like a plot.
I wasn't emotionally connected. I like them. I love what they were doing, but I didn't feel them
Yeah.
the same way that oftentimes I do. But I thought these books were really beautiful.
Yeah.
There were
Yeah.
things that didn't work for me,
Yeah.
but
The term is solar punk. These are part of solar punk, which is like your futuristic sci-fi where everything got figured out. And we're all better and we're not assholes anymore and we fixed the world and we got rid of all the problems.
yeah,
So like Star Trek, original Star Trek,
right.
would effectively be solar punk because Earth itself, completely peaceful. No money, nothing, just everybody's fine, everybody's good.
People make good decisions.
People make good decisions. And so I think that's why it's a very cozy book.
It is cozy.
Yeah. But I'm not sure if you could have extended this book any farther than you did. Because, yeah, it's good. It reminds me a little bit of Siddhartha, where you're like on a journey with a character and you're on their journey, but you're also on their like growth journey.
Yeah, and then there's also this like Brave New World, noble savage thing happening.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of themes that were pretty important. And there was some growth in our characters, but it was just so healthy. And this is probably why relationships don't work for me, because they are so fucking boring.
I find this funny because the main character,
Sorry.
our main character, is like clinically depressed.
Yeah.
So, and I disagree.
Disagree that they were depressed?
I think that no, all signs of depression. If you wake up every day tired, if you are if life and your existence and what you do on a daily exhausts you and you wake up every day exhausted, that is a symptom of depression. To me, and this is for a lot of people going to just like completely void my opinion. This guy just had a Sagittarius moon and needed more. He just needed more. Thank
Yes.
you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. See, that's my brain just kept doing that.
And I want to talk about that too. I want to talk about how hard the pronouns were for me.
I initially struggled.
Yeah.
And by the second book, I was fine. It was normalized enough.
It just took me a while to get.
It was normalized enough.
Did you listen to the audiobook or did you read it, Hannah?
I started off reading the first one. I read probably the first half on my Kindle. And then I was worried that I wasn't going to finish it in time. So I listened to the rest when I drove to Greensboro the other day.
I listened to it.
And I listened
read
to
it.
the second one.
I listened and read. I did it where that's what I had to
You can move your pop filter. if
I
you
had
need
to immerse.
Yeah.
So I sync. I did the thing
like
where you
Murderbot.
Yeah. I had to sync up on Kindle so that it was playing and reading the words out loud. And it was like highlighting them, which was incredible. And I had to do that to like keep up.
And it was easier listening, I guess, a little bit. But when I was like reading, I was like, wait a minute. Who's they?
Who else is there?
Who all is with this
Who's
person?
with sibling?
Yeah.
Dex. I'm just going to call them Dex.
Yeah.
Dex.
But it was, I did struggle at first. Because my brain, I don't care. I'm happy that this happened, but my initial thoughts was the people who want to identify as non-binary, please create new pronouns so that we aren't using plural, which I am sure in the next few generations it'll normalize really fast.
Yeah.
So it's really not. It's like not a real issue. But for people who have that is plural in my brain. And it took a while to unpluralize it. And so I was like, oh, that's just X.
Yeah.
But I would get confused because I think there was one part, there was dialogue where I think they were talking to themselves. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wait, is there someone else there? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, there was a little bit of that. And and I went and read through the Goodreads, and so many people were like, let's fuck this book, the pronouns. And I was just like, that's not how I feel about it.
No.
I just want people to have their own pronouns so that we do have a designation for plural and a non-binary character or however people want to identify. And I think people who read a lot of sci-fi are so accustomed to creative pronouns, and I'm just like, okay, let's do some new ones.
Well, this is a world, like an entirely created world. Panga's not Earth, so it doesn't take place on Earth.
Not at all.
I don't think it would have been a stretch for Becky to make some pronouns.
Sure.
Yeah, but I get where she's going. I get why we use they. I don't struggle with they as much as in the first book when Dex is alone most of the time, as much as I did in the second book when Dex is traveling with Mosscap the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
And then to me, it felt more like, oh, are we talking about both of them? Oh, no, we're just talking about Dex.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, were we talking about both of them? No, just Dex. But when Dex is just alone, they was not as much of a struggle.
Yeah. Well, and when I initially read it, and Hannah, I think I heard you saying this too, it definitely was like, it took me out. But it didn't take long to adjust. Mm-mm. So at the end of the day, it's a non-issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that there were things about this book that were, like I said, really wonderful. Small Comforts is like my whole life.
Yeah. I was
Right.
like, the god of small comforts.
Alaleia,
Hell
yes.
Yeah. I want a tea monk. I want traveling tea
Like,
monks.
I want to be a tea monk. I feel like that is my calling.
Yes.
It's basically like a witch.
A people
Yeah.
pleaser.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
just go and sit, have
And
a
talk to
conversation.
people.
Let me make you your own special brew.
Your
Here you go.
therapy with...
I know plants and I know what goes good together. And
you're a therapist with
tea
medicinal
witch.
beverages.
Yeah.
Yeah. A
I
tea
mean,
witch. Yeah.
I feel like I should tell you guys now, I have a plan for my life that includes owning a tea shop one day
Aw.
called Books and Grannies.
Oh, that's cute.
So it's a bookshop and a tea shop. And we just sit around and drink tea and
With our curlers in.
yeah.
Sounds
you can,
nice.
Yeah,
And
you can wear your
muumuus?
curl.
Can you
Yeah.
get a moo at the door?
You can
Your
Rentable.
slippers.
Yeah.
slippers.
You walk in
No
and then someone
bras.
hands you some Werther's.
Nice.
Take your bra off at the door.
Yeah. Werther's on every table.
You've heard of a coat room? We have a bra room.
A broad drawer. The drawers.
Your drawers.
Go put your bra.
Put your bra in the drawers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go put your bra in that chest of drawers at the front of the room. That's great.
Yeah. I think I loved that part. That was their god.
The part where she's like, okay, this is something that I was like, this is incredible. She's like, here is your wagon that has everything you need. It's luxurious.
Yeah.
We used some sort of like somebody who was like a bed
Wrote
pro.
a treatise on
Beds.
Yeah.
And comfort.
yeah.
And here's your it's like what are they called? Loft.
Yeah.
Like a bed loft. That for me, I was like, okay, well, that gets 4 stars
Yeah.
because
Like the gypsy wagon. It sounds so like fun.
yeah,
And then when it gets filled with herbs and they describe it as like it's just full of drying herbs and mixed brews and cups
Just
and
the whole aesthetic just made me so happy.
yeah.
and it has hot showers, and he never goes really without. And his entire job is to set up like a pod lab everywhere he goes.
yeah.
And they're kind of the world is so, like you said, repaired
Yeah.
and utopian that it's basically their form of therapy. And so the only kind of distress these people are in is I don't even know, like,
It's comforting to me to think that even, when we fix everything and we have no more societal problems, we're still going to have mental issues.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought
This is always going to be here.
I thought that the whole
That's
time.
comforting to me.
Because there are always going to be people, and for me, this is an astrological thing. For other people, it's just differences in people, nurture, nature, all the things. But you'll always have the person who loves the comfort, who loves the routine, who wants nothing to change. And then you're going to have your little Aquarius kids, or your little Sagittarius moons, or your little whatever, who need novelty. And they need adventure, and they need to go off the path because they don't understand the rules and they don't accept them for what they are. And people are always going to be like that. You're always going to have people that need different things. So you can't have a society that looks like not everyone can always stay in the lines and be happy.
Yeah.
So what I was thinking earlier when I said that he wasn't depressed, I thought he was more lonely. To me, he was lonely, and I think it showed up as depression. And he needed that platonic soulmate camaraderie that he found.
That
She found
Did I say he again?
Yes.
That they found.
Yeah.
in
Sorry.
3PO.
I need a little placard.
I know. Well, I can do this.
It was like when we did
capable.
Murderbot.
It's just a practice.
Well,
It is
I'm
practice makes
and
perfect.
I'm capable. I'm very capable.
For sure.
I don't even know. That's so funny though, because when I was reading it, I wasn't thinking he.
I thought you did a really good job with that because I didn't feel at any point like
One way or the other.
one way or the other. I didn't.
See, I was leaning towards he, and I didn't know if that.
And the fact that our brain had to do that.
Yeah, like I was like, why am I thinking this? Like, what is it? Dex is like the name Dex to me more masculine, or like what is it? Why does my brain have to go to one side or the other?
Yeah, and it really
It's
challenges
super
you.
annoying, but yeah.
I think that's just how we were programmed growing up.
Sure.
Definitely.
And it is a deprogramming.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you want the Barbie or
It is
the
a
Hot Wheels?
reprogramming
Yeah.
that I will do. So apologies for thank you for your patience.
You're welcome.
And to anyone listening
Absolutely.
who may identify as non-binary, thank you for your patience as the rest of us catch up.
We're working on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah, and happy Pride Month.
Yes.
Yeah. Happy Pride Month.
Yeah. I liked the Pantheon. That's why I needed a cheat guide ahead of time.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm glad you asked.
yeah, I just thought it's important for us to talk about it because the way that the author sets it up is so nice and it really plays so much into the story. And I love that they're gods, but they're more like schools of philosophy
Yes.
because they're
Yes.
not like an active thing. They don't believe they hear or
they're
that
not an omnipotent creature that lives
No.
out in behind the moon
they're just like
or
an,
behind the planet. That
like
the
an
moon.
understanding of the world kind
Yes.
of thing. Yeah. And so they have like the parent gods and then the child gods. And the parent gods are kind of like the forces that control the world. And then the child gods are like how you live your life. And then I liked the strength to do both, which they don't explain for a while, but it's like,
Oh, which is just balance and like a yin and a yang.
yeah, like you can be as productive as you want. You can be as like thoughtful as you want, but you also have to rest and you don't need to justify your need for rest. You could just have it.
Yeah, and
I know you're like,
and we'll have to be
oh, thank you.
careful about. Wow, did you hear that?
Yeah.
Interesting. Both books are so short. It is a little bit challenging to remember like what pieces of this what pieces of the story did we listen to in the first or did we read in the first or the second.
Yeah.
The part about that part, did they talk about that in the first book?
They do.
There's so many people that I thought they need to read this and kind of feel it and
Yeah.
absorb it.
Yeah.
Because that idea that you cannot help someone else fill their cup if your own cup isn't being filled, You cannot meet your children's needs without meeting your own needs. You cannot even know what another person needs if you don't take care of your own. And I think we've all had friends, family, ourselves, where we go through periods where we don't know ourselves, we don't know what we need, and we're just surviving.
Yeah.
And that is kind of what Sibling Dex was doing.
Yeah. And I identified really strongly with their restlessness. With the, I have mastered the thing, and now I'm done. Like, I'm done. I need to move on to the next thing.
That is why it was Sagittarius energy
You
to
little
me.
Sagittarius,
I felt
you.
that like
Yes.
viscerally because
And-
that happens to me.
I
And
know,
it's-
and it happens to a lot of people,
Yeah.
and that's why that sort of society where everyone fits this one little mold, like we don't leave the trail. Are you kidding? Like, I get it. Like, the community as the community is the thing is beautiful. You know, I love, you know, in essence, sometimes those sorts of societies don't necessarily work out, but
yeah.
I love the concept, the idea of it. But to not be able to pave your own road and discover, like, there are always going to be people who need discovery and creativity, and they need to make something new. And you can't do that if you always have to stay in the lines.
Yeah.
Yep. And then we get Mosscap,
The best.
who I love.
That rascal.
What's
I
his
know.
full name?
Mosscap. Oh, I think it's just Mosscap.
No, it's speckled
Oh,
fin
yeah.
moss cap or something.
Oh, yeah.
Spontaneous speckled. It's like a chapter in the book. I'll pull it up real fast.
Yeah,
It's like
and he knows
splendid
we like
speckled
to.
Mosscap.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Splendid speckled.
Yeah. I loved the whole robot section where Dex is like, well, weren't you there? Like, weren't you a factory robot? He's like, no. Or
What?
excuse me. It's like, no. I've been rebuilt. Like, no.
I'm wild.
I'm a
built.
5th generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a
wild
5
built.
gen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
They're
did
like,
not see that coming.
Yeah. It's like at some point we decided we were going to let ourselves break down so that we were part of the cycle, just like everything else.
Because
is part of the
nothing
cycle.
else is immortal.
Yeah.
Nothing else doesn't die out. Everything has, a pattern and a cycle.
Yeah. And then Dex is like, well, you're the one who chose to die. And Mosscap's like, I didn't choose that. My ancestors chose that. You didn't choose it either. We're in the same boat. And also, it's not good at math.
Yeah, and
Love
he
that.
assumes that he knows that he's like, you don't know how many robots there are? And he goes, no. Oh, the best line, and y'all, the best line in it is like, do you know how much energy consciousness takes?
That's Matt's favorite line in the whole book. It's, do
Oh
you
my
know how
God.
computationally intensive consciousness is?
Yeah. Is that what he says?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I
Matt's
love-
like, yes.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's taking me everything just to be me. You think I know all this other stuff
Right.
too?
He goes, ew, you think we're networked? Ew, you think we're like Skynet?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, would you want that? Would you want everyone to know your thoughts? And Dex is like, oh God, no.
Right.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
they have a discussion about pronouns because Mosscap is like, I prefer to be called it.
Yep, versus a person.
Yeah. And Dex is like, well, that makes me feel like I'm referring to you as an object. And it's like, I am an object. Are you saying an object is less valid than a person? And Dex is like, sold, man. Fine. Yeah.
Right.
You are. Yeah.
It brings up so much. And
So much.
yeah, and there's parts where that's the second book. Never mind.
I know. I'm like sitting here trying not to say like second book stuff, but I just love how we learn so much about nature from an unnatural thing.
A
you know,
construct.
robot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. I like when they finally get to the Hermitage.
Me too.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. It reminded me all the little like idols that they have for each
Yeah.
god.
And I
was
like,
really cool.
yeah. And I like that it was factory age. So it's pre-transition or whatever, but they still had like a solar and a green roof. And
Right.
so,
Because they were like the woo-woo folk
yeah.
before
It's
during
like-
the factory age.
It's like they weren't all that bad.
They were like the Whole
The
Foods
hippies.
folks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like there were people trying. So,
Yeah. It wasn't all bad.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The reader does a very good job of like, this is not a homogenous society now, and it wasn't a homogenous society then either. Yeah.
Yeah, there's all these little sections.
For some reason, the Hermitage reminded me of the bunker in Lost.
Maybe because we just talked about Lost.
Yeah, no,
Maybe.
I mean, Lost is relevant.
Okay, good.
A lot, all the
I
time.
pictured that.
I could see that with like a Dharma signal
Yeah.
thing on that symbol.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
I took some notes.
I did too, and I left them at work.
I like his first, or it. Sorry, there. I like siblings' first encounter when they start their tea journey, and they have all the stuff. Like they went to Target and went to the tea monk section and bought all the stuff for the tea monk, and then they set it up, and they're like, "I'm so ready." And then the first person comes, and they sit down to talk to them. And they don't know what to say. And then they're trying to give him tea. And they're like, oh, I'm allergic to this one type of herb.
And that's all he had.
And it's in every single thing.
All they had.
So relatable.
I know. And sibling Dex is like, I'm so sorry. And so they end up consoling sibling Dex. And it's like, that's not how that's supposed to work. But then they spend 3 months figuring everything out. They go to the next place and buy all the herbs, hook up with the herb guy a couple of times.
Yes.
Get it all worked out. I know. Just she does such a good job of taking us on this journey in this really short little book where you never feel like you're being pushed along through it. Mm-hmm. Most of us didn't feel like we were being pushed along through it.
I felt like I was being dragged.
I just felt like
And I
it
liked
was
it. That's what-
comforting. It was like a
It
cup
felt
of tea to me.
cozy. Yeah, to me, it was, I think it says a lot. I think I have a lot of work to do.
There's a really good movie with Dan Stevens in it called I'm Your Man. Have you ever seen that one? Okay, it's a German language one, and Dan Stevens is in it. And he's a robot who is custom built for this woman. Like they do this huge long thing with her, and they create her perfect man and give it to her.
She's probably so bored.
She hates him and wants nothing to do with him. And they're like, why? Literally, this is what you want. And she's like, he never fights with me. And they're like,
He doesn't
do you want him
her.
to?
He doesn't challenge her.
And so they're like, can you try doing that? And he's like, I mean, I can, but like, it's an excellent movie because it's talking about, is it okay to have a partnership like that where someone doesn't, where you actually just feel accepted and loved and there's no friction? Or do you need the friction? And so, yeah.
Well, I think this book is a Rachel book. It reminds me of the fact that your children don't like to watch anything where the parents aren't good parents.
That's true.
Because it feels uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful.
I like that it made me think. And
Yeah.
And I like that it made me think about like the small comforts and rest is something that I feel like we don't talk about enough. And then story shapes culture. That's part of its purpose. When it's only conflict, how do we deal with the conflict? Here's a different kind of conflict. How do we deal with it? That's fine. But sometimes it's like there's no conflict. So how do we exist in that too?
Yeah, and that was really fascinating.
Yeah.
And that we will make conflict even when there is no conflict. And what does that conflict look like?
Yeah.
And you're still going to have your Miss Karens who come sit at the table and have the same thing to say every time.
Yeah.
You know, that was one of the first tea clients.
Yeah.
And, we all know her. And, there were some really, really like soft. It's soft.
Yeah.
It's a very gentle book.
Cozy. Like a cozy book.
Yeah, it's very cozy.
But I mean, they bring up some really hard stuff, but it's still cozy. I mean, even with the hard stuff.
Do we get the conversations about the leeches?
No, that's in the second one.
Okay.
Yeah, this one is more like Dex is struggling with purpose. Yes, and so Moss Cap is like, you don't really need a purpose. You don't need a reason to exist. The fact that you exist
is enough.
That was wild to me.
And
yeah,
that was so wild.
My therapist.
That was wild built.
Yeah, it was wild built.
Yeah.
My therapist said that to me last time. She goes, you don't always have to be like going somewhere or improving. Like you can just be yourself.
I didn't know that.
And I was like, yeah, okay, Dr. Aziz. Shh, leave me alone. We're not, shouldn't have said their name. It's fine. It's okay, Dr. Psychiatrist.
I'm sure there's other doctors with that name. So
There's
it's fine.
plenty of doctors.
Plenty. Yeah.
But yeah, and it's like an evolved. These are both very evolved beings from very different cultures. And
Yeah.
watching the one, the one that was constructed, the construct, have this greater understanding. The piece about the natural state of the world has nothing in it and is just nature. Is that in this book?
Yes.
I thought that was really cool because I don't think about that. But we should.
We should.
Yeah.
The natural state of the world without... Have you guys ever seen those documentaries? I think they're on Netflix or maybe Discovery, where they talk about what would happen if we lost power tomorrow and how fast the world would revert to nature.
Yeah.
And like they go through like a year, 5 years, 10
Yes.
years, 100 years. I mean, it's fascinating. And
Yeah.
that's the truth. Is like we have to actively work at making the world ours. And it goes back to this natural state really fast.
Yeah.
And we should think about that more. And there are some people who spend so much time thinking about that. Not me. And I should. I should.
Yeah, we're so far removed from the natural world that we don't.
That we're animals
Yeah.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
think too much
Yeah.
and feel too much. And we've become so...
So obsessed with having a purpose.
Well, because
Well, that's
our,
hustle culture.
but life has shifted so much. We used to have to work really hard to exist. We don't have to work hard to exist anymore. And
Yeah.
we haven't been able to, our brains haven't caught up. So
Yeah, like physically,
depression-
you don't have to
yeah,
exert.
depression,
Yeah.
anxiety is all because what do? We sit around and work on computers all day and we don't have to physically do anything.
Yeah.
Our brains are doing everything. And we haven't caught up biologically, which is why mental illness is such a big deal. Because our culture has just slowed down. We're so sedate.
Yeah. Physically sedentary. But
That's
then
what I
also
meant,
like
but yeah.
time is money. If I'm sitting around doing nothing, I'm wasting money because I could be doing something.
And
Yeah.
so much
Yeah.
of that is, I don't know if you feel comfortable, but as a political science major, just that's not relevant right now. But
Okay.
so our country was started by Protestants and that Protestantism, right? That
Idle hands are the devil's playground.
you're poor people. God made poor people. You're poor because God made you that way. You know what I mean? Like, God blesses the successful. God blesses the productive. God
Yeah.
blesses that. Like,
Yeah.
is what started our country. And that has trickled through for years and years. I mean, it's present, even
Yeah.
every day.
Omnipresent. Yeah.
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 And it doesn't have to be that way.
Right. Which is why it's good to read books like this, where they're like, no, you can literally write an entire book about how comfortable your bed should be.
And I agree with that.
And that's because you spend half of your life in it. Why is that something you haven't devoted more time to? And you're like, yes.
But
thank you.
I do spend time doing that.
Yeah,
So that's why I like.
I'm all about Alleluia.
Yeah, no, me too. Like I literally, those are the things that I value the most.
I feel like we need Summer Bear t-shirts now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to keep writing. We have a lot of shirts to make.
We do.
You know, one
Who's
day,
keeping a list?
I can start one.
Okay.
We'll put it in the drive. We'll make another sheet.
Yeah, sounds good.
We'll have a merch sheet.
Okay.
I'll just add a page in our
Add a
currently
page.
existing one. Yeah.
Yeah, a sheet.
Yeah. Yeah, I can use the same one we already have. I can just add a page to it.
Isn't that a sheet?
You guys are calling the
But
same thing.
Are we
two different
using?
things.
Yeah, but are we using Google?
Inside the sheets, there are pages. Inside the sheet file at the bottom,
sheet
there's
is
pages.
the whole thing, and the tabs are the pages.
Yeah.
I didn't know about the pages. I was gonna argue until I was right though, and I was wrong, and I will take that. And
I'm already doing that with somebody else.
I know. I'm sorry.
Add that to it right now.
I should have stopped and asked. I should have stopped and been more curious
it's
instead of
perfectly fine.
assuming that. Yeah. Lasso ended.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Ted Lasso's done.
Yeah.
There goes
It
one
is.
small comfort.
Yeah. That was like not a small comfort
That was a
for
really
me. That was a big comfort. Let's share. What are 3 small comforts that mean so much to you, Rachel?
Well, I really like a hot cup of coffee in the morning.
Is it your first thing that
Yeah.
you look forward to?
Yes. If I tried to give up coffee and I just can't do it. I can't switch to tea. I can't. It has to be like.
I was going to say, is it just a temperature thing, but it has to be coffee.
It has to be just like.
How do you
my
take
cup
your coffee?
with cream and sugar? Right, because I've tried to have black coffee, but why? Like, this is my one cup
Well,
of coffee
if you
today.
have-
I'm
if-
going to put cream and sugar
And
in
I
it.
recognize that there are beans and like nuances of coffee beans, and that there are people who spend a lot of time
And that's
understanding
fine.
that, and you can do that.
Yeah.
I would actually prefer just like a cheap fresh. I do like a fresh ground bean with cream and sugar.
Yeah.
And I don't even need cream. I just need milk. I just want milk and sugar.
Yeah.
A little bit of milk and a little bit of sugar.
And I really like to have handmade mugs.
That
Like, yeah,
Yes.
They don't have to match, but I have to, like,
Pottery.
they have to be, I have to have picked them out. Like, I pick out my mugs. It's important to me, like, that I like the mug.
that the mug feels good when
Yes.
you
that
drink
it
out
feels
of
The
it.
good.
mug is so important.
Right. Because it's like, that's how I start my day every day. And I need to sit and have it by myself. We don't have conversations over morning coffee. It's not like I'm angry. I just need to have this moment in my morning where I just sit and have a cup of coffee with a mug, usually made by somebody I knew or know. So it's like a just get my day started thing.
What else?
That was 3 things.
Okay.
Was it?
Yeah.
The
hot cup of coffee.
the beverage
handmade
itself.
mug.
Oh, okay.
Drink it alone.
Okay. Just
And
to
then-
me, my
but
brain was
once-
just
'cause
going.
once- well,
okay,
once
so
the
you like your
coffee-
coffee?
Well, no, because once the kids start talking to me, done. Like, I'm just in everybody else's world for the rest of the day.
Hannah.
I'm big about my bed. So sheets, linens, like a crisp,
Fresh.
fresh sheet. Small comforts. A bath.
You like baths?
I'm a bather.
Bather, one might say.
And one might say bather, you know?
Bathe in the waters.
I mean, sometimes I take a bath every day. And I mean that like just the bath part. Of course, like I wash my body. I'm not saying that, but like just the act of like sitting in
Yeah.
a hot tub with like, you know, oils and stuff. I do like
And a
bath.
sand candle.
Yeah, I should get myself a Resand candle. And crisp Diet Coke. I mean, crisp.
Yes. Okay.
Burn, like your eyes water a little
Spicy.
bit.
Yeah.
A spicy Diet Coke.
Yeah. Okay. So mine are really on par with that. Mine is a down pillow, but it needs to be thick down, soft down, like down, not feather. It can
Yeah.
be a little bit of feather, but mostly down so that you don't get poked.
Yeah.
Pretty thick, but worn in so that it moves easily. So I don't like it so thick. And then I need a blanket that is heavy, not hot, because I have been thunder coating myself since I was a small child. And I didn't even know that was
like
a thing.
a quilt.
No, it typically needs to be a down blanket because they
Okay.
tend to be heavy,
Heavy.
not hot. And I told my mom and dad that when I was very little. It needs to be heavy, not hot. And they just didn't put that together that I'm ADHD and my muscles move and I cannot sleep unless I'm like weighted down.
Yeah.
And then I was going to say a crisp Diet Coke, a McDonald's Diet Coke. Like there's just something about the flavor, the ice, it being cold but not melted. It's just such a small,
Can we have a moment of silence for
the cup.
the styrofoam cups at McDonald's?
We love you, Earth. But we also love
This feels so wrong.
the styrofoam cups at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Pour one out. I thought you were going to say, can we have a moment of silence for that Diet Coke you had to pour out that you got from another fast food chain today that was miserably bad?
Yeah, that was terrible.
No syrup, not enough syrup, no carbonation at all. They basically just sold you a half syrup water.
And you know that I will never send anything back to any restaurant ever.
It had crushed ice.
Never.
I actually wouldn't either. I tried to break bad and say I would have returned it, but I probably wouldn't.
I act like I would, but in reality, I'm never going to.
I'm going to take this back.
I'm taking this back.
No, probably not.
I'm just going to
drink it
and act like I love it.
Thank you so much.
And I actually took a sip in front of the guy too.
Oh my God.
And I knew it was terrible, and I was like, just like blinking, like, thank you.
No. Just need to take me along with you.
Scorpio Sagittarius doesn't do that. Surprise.
Yeah.
Aquarius Pisces does do that. Okay.
Yeah. I held up a Starbucks line one time because they put vanilla in my drink. I wanted a caramel latte, and they gave me a caramel macchiato. And I was like, I'm sorry, but that is not what I ordered. I need you to make it again. And they were like, it's the same, it just has vanilla in it. I'm like, I can't have vanilla Starbucks syrup. Something about vanilla Starbucks syrup. I will get a migraine immediately. I can get vanilla from anywhere else, but from Starbucks, no. I was like, I can't drink this. I need you to make it again. And the guy in the back's like, I heard her. She said caramel latte. And I was like, thank you. Yes.
Yeah. And they're supposed to be serious about that at Starbucks. They're supposed to be really passionate about getting your drink right.
Yeah.
So
and
I'm
not
mad
giving
at
you
for
shit
that.
about it.
Yeah.
I was like,
not making you feel like a Karen.
Right. Like, I'm not arguing. I ordered what I ordered.
Because there's Karen and then there's Karen. And you ain't a Karen.
I would say, I'm so sorry. I must have said the wrong thing.
I mean, I'm not like...
This might be my fault, and I'm not sure where the miscommunication was, but can we do this again?
This might be my fault. I didn't do anything
I'm
for
so
this.
sorry, but I think I might have said the wrong thing.
Can you remake this?
Y'all should have seen me yesterday. I was talking to this attorney that I've never worked with before, and it's a little bit different. The attorney doesn't have a paralegal or assistant, and attorneys shouldn't be doing the clerical part. No. They shouldn't be the forward facing. Attorneys are attorneys. You worked really hard. You went to law school. You make more money. You do your thing and let somebody hire an assistant.
Please.
Because they don't have really the email manner that I'm accustomed to working with. I didn't see them giving a shit about communication being efficient and effective. And they were smart with me a couple times. And I wasn't, it was almost like they were intentionally misunderstanding me. And my final email was just like, I'm so sorry. I see the communication now, with a smiley face. These buyers are so sweet, and I'm just going to courier the docs over there myself, and blah, blah, blah. And did this whole really fluffy, sweet thing. But I was so mad.
Yeah.
But there was a part of me, what would Ted do? He would not be smart and sassy back. He wouldn't.
What would Ted do?
Ted wouldn't be sassy back.
No.
He would be kind. And so I was kind.
Do you feel like you learned anything from this book that would have helped you in that interaction?
Yeah, I mean, Moscap is really, really kind.
Yeah.
Oh, you circled back.
I did.
It was subtle.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's
sorry,
no
I didn't
problem.
mean a tangent.
No, tangent's good. That's what our audience is here for.
Are they?
Sorry, if you wanted
You guys out there?
if you wanted a serious literary criticism,
We'll give you some more podcasts to listen to if you're looking for something
a little bit more on topic, I guess. But
yeah.
Moscap is good about asking questions that make Dex think about things without giving Dex the answers. I like that a lot. Like when they carry the water can, or he's going to carry the water can. It's going to carry the water can. And Dex is like, I don't want you to.
Yeah, because he's curious, not assumptive.
Right. Yeah, assumptive would work.
Is that a word?
Yeah. Yes. And Mosscap is
That's
like,
going on the T-shirt list.
yeah.
Is that a word?
Is that a word? But Mosscap is like, no, I want to carry your water can. And Dex is like, but I don't want you to. I don't want you to perform a service for me like that. And Mosscap is like, am I not allowed to carry this?
If you had a friend that was tall?
Yeah, I am simply using what I'm capable of doing to help you. I want to do this. I am volunteering to do this. Are you going to take away my choice to help you?
Yeah, please give me agency.
Yeah.
I loved their conversations. I was thinking, man, I wish we could be more
Y'all
just
know
honest.
Mosscap gentle parented sibling Dex.
He sure did.
Yeah,
It
he
really
really
did.
did.
Sure
Yeah.
did gentle parent him.
Yeah.
He sure did.
Yeah.
He asked the right questions that made him think. And that's
Yeah.
basically what gentle parenting is.
Yeah, and
It's
I-
like guiding someone to a different answer.
Yeah. And I love the part at the end when it finds a cup and stuff while Dex is napping and it makes him tea. And Dex is like, this is the worst tea I've ever eaten, but that I've ever drunk, but there's no way I am not finishing this cup of
And
tea.
the
Yes.
experience and that moment, it's like, that's like the climax of the book.
Yeah.
Is him acknowledging, oh, my cup is empty.
Yeah.
That is why I am depressed or sleeping, and that he's exhausted.
Yeah.
Because he's filling like literally. It's almost like the author was like, "How do I talk about people's cups not being full? Oh, I'll write a book about a tea mug."
I
Like
love it.
literally
I wanna read
someone who-
more. I want to read more of Becky Chambers stuff. I want to find out if this is the way she writes all of her books.
I mean, a lot of the reviews said that.
Yeah, when I was reading
Yeah.
some reviews, there are people that they read all her stuff just because of that beautiful, comforting way that she writes.
I mean, I
worlds.
thought her writing was really great. I
Yeah.
could tell that it was good.
Yeah, it was good.
It wasn't objectively bad.
I
No.
could tell it was objectively good.
Objectively good.
Yeah.
Good.
I could tell that a writer would read it
Yeah.
and go, oh, this is pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah. As I was being dragged along,
God, this is boring.
is there no plot, please?
Someone gonna die? There's no 7-foot tall people. Oh, there is a 7-foot
yeah,
tall
where are the giant dicks?
object.
And then Mosscap's dick rolled out. And then that's when the butt stuff happens.
No, I mean it's a good break.
No, I
It's a
thought so
good
too.
break,
And
yeah. If I don't think I could take a diet of just these.
And we don't have
philosophy
to.
light books.
I thought you were going to say, I don't think I could take a diet of all these Sarah J. Maas books. And I was like, and we don't have to.
No, I mean we
Just
get
mostly. Just like 98%. 98%.
85 to 90, somewhere in there. But this is a good break. It's like a rest.
No, I agree.
It's a moment of rest
It is.
that we didn't
And
need to deserve. We could
Right.
just
You
get
don't
to
need
it.
to deserve it. You can just take it.
Are you looking at the time?
Yeah, I'm ready to
48
talk about the
minutes.
second book.
Me too.
Yeah, we can. We can
Okay.
move on. Let me pause it and start again.
Okay.
Wait.
Hey, that was great. I really love that
Bye.
book. It was hey, let's
I
do
know
this.
the second book's really good.
How many, what's something that we can use as a scale that is unique to us?
Oh, for ratings?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that we need to be 5 stars or
No,
whatever.
that's what I'm saying. I just
Nerd clusters.
I'd
many
read it
nerd
again.
book-
Readable? Would you read it again?
I probably wouldn't read it again, but I'll tell you what I would do. I would put it on if I needed something to listen to go to sleep.
I mean, that's good.
But I do that with all my books.
I think that would be fine. I think that's a good use of this book because that's the whole point.
yeah,
You
it
don't
would
have
lull
to-
me to sleep with just nice things.
Yeah, there's
And I
no
could-
prescribed way you have to interact with the world. You can do it however you
And that's kind of
want
what
to.
the book's
That's
about.
kind of what the book's about.
Yeah.
I think I would get the hard copies just to have on my shelf and maybe be like a little
Yeah.
like The Hobbit. Well, maybe not
These-
The Hobbit, but just like a comforting.
I'll say
Yeah.
this. These are not on my favorite books of all time list. I'm grateful to have read them, but I probably won't. This isn't something that I would go, you gotta read this for me.
I gave
Yeah.
it a 4.
But I'm grateful that I read it.
Maybe if someone was having a hard time.
Yeah, there are. I
Yeah.
can think of a lot of people that I would love for them to read these,
Yeah.
and take from it what it has to offer. But I also know that those are the people who need it the most and won't.
Yeah. Yes,
You know?
unfortunately.
Like the people
Yeah.
who need to learn how
Or they're going to
to
read it and not get it.
Yeah, and the people who or that it just won't have it's too Animal Crossings
Yeah.
and not enough Call of Duty.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those books that like you can read it to cover in a couple of hours.
4 hours
Yeah,
on
but
1.2.
You really need to not do that. You need to like get to a point where you feel slightly challenged and then like stop.
Chapter
really-
to chapter. It's only 8 chapters is a
Yeah.
great way to do it.
Yeah, and just really let it like steep.
Mellow.
Deep.
Ooh.
Like
Yeah,
tea.
like tea.
So were you
book
really
tea.
I mean,
thinking about it?
It is actually kind of brilliant the way that the book feels when you're reading it about like the way what it's written about.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. It would be like if you were writing a book about a car crash and it felt like a car crash.
Except tea.
Except for tea.
Tea and robots. And I
Yeah.
like that when the robots all became sentient, which we don't ever, they're just like, yeah, they just did that. They just all became sentient. And they were like, can we leave? And people were like, yeah, great. Here's half the world.
Yeah, like they had a conscience.
Let us know when you want to come back. Like we'll be here for you. But other than that, you're good.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
promise.
have a great
Yeah,
time.
we'll just figure out all these factories and stuff on our own.
Yeah, it's fine. The parting promise. Which
parting promise.
Dex is like, yeah, the parting. Like, hang on, I think I learned about that in school. It's
Yeah.
like not a thing. It's been so long.
Dexter. That's why.
Yeah,
Dexter.
probably.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, and it's interesting because they're like we talk about Dex hooking up with people, but to me, I never felt like I needed to visualize Dex as one gender or the other.
I was like, what's this? What does this look like?
And
What's going on over
What
there?
are we working with?
What do we got going on over here?
Usually I am all about visualizing the sex. That is me, for sure.
That is who I am.
But in this case,
That is how I
didn't.
identify.
I really didn't.
Yeah, I thought it was too cozy. I mean, there's a place for a G-rated book,
Yeah,
you know?
it's okay. Yeah, it's
Oh,
good.
but like also it's not because I loved like a really quick introduction to this book that I was like, okay, I can do this. We've got this monk that is all about people pleasing and serving tea and offering people this like cathartic and spiritual moment that's like, fuck you, fuck this, fuck that.
Yes.
I was like,
Yeah, I love how Dex is not like sanctified.
Right.
They don't feel like they are.
Yes.
They felt like a
saint-like.
real person.
They feel like a real person.
And profanity always makes me feel like someone is a real person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even when Mosscap is like, well, will you take me around? Will you show me around? Dex is like, I don't know. Like, I got to think that through. That's a big responsibility. I don't know that I want to do that.
Right.
I don't.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, yes, I have been called. This is my sacred duty. It's like, ooh, I don't know.
Did they talk about being a mess in this book?
I think so. And when they're talking to Mosscap at the end.
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't know, like I don't know. I don't know who I am. I don't know what my purpose is. I'm restless. I don't know why. Everybody else seems like they've got it all together. I don't have it together. I don't know how I can get it together. And no matter what I
I'm
do,
not
I
the
can't.
one you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mosscap is like, sounds like you're exactly who I want.
Yeah.
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 All right. So I think we're anxious to talk about the second book. So
Yeah.
we'll just,
I'm ready for this.
until next time, friends.
See you next time.
Bye.
Shatter.
Is it hot in here or is it just me? Tuning in to hear these three chatting about fantasy novels of the spicy variety. Not your average book club, if you know what I mean. Are you happy to see us over? Is that a dagger? It's Feast Sheath Shatter. It's Feast Sheath Shatter.
You are listening to a Strange and Beautiful Network podcast, a network of shows focusing on unscripted discussions that promote positive but honest engagement with all the weird and wonderful topics that make our hearts happy. I want to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude to all our listeners. Your continuous support and engagement mean the world to us. So if you're enjoying the show, make sure to spread the love. Rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. Follow us on Instagram at Strange and Beautiful Network to stay updated on the latest episodes, behind-the-scenes peeks, and exclusive content from all our shows. You can also find additional ways to support this show on our Patreon page at patreon.com/Strange and Beautiful Network. By becoming a patron, you'll gain access to bonus episodes, early releases, our Discord channel, and other exciting perks. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.